From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is the Primetime News Bulletin here on Joy News and Multi TV. In this edition, Narcotics Control Board releases details and photograph of Ghanaian lady arrested at Heathrow Airport in London in drug smuggling attempt. Meanwhile, the general manager of an Accra-based radio station is being questioned apparently over a publication on the drug bust. Residents of Ashaman Saba near Tema threatening another demonstration over stalled road projects. General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union announced one-day strike in solidarity with sacked workers of oil industry services firm Modec. And power providers say more investment will be required if the current erratic electricity supply situation is to be resolved. There's more business, sports, showbiz and international news all coming up in the next 60 minutes. Stay tuned. The bulletin is also available across Europe on ABN Television in London.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Now, very first story, the general manager of Accra-based radio station TTFM is said to be in detention at the Bureau of National Investigations after he was asked to report there on Monday. The arrest is believed to be in connection with a publication by the station's online news portal, CityFM Online, linking a lady busted with cocaine in London to the governing National Democratic Congress. Legal practitioner Albert Fable Jr. confirmed the arrest to myjoyonline.com and said he was yet to be granted access. He spoke on today's big story a couple of hours ago.
DNI premises on another matter, and I found his vehicle there. I later found also a colleague of mine by name Mr. Patu Blanche, who was there in respect of him. We put our heads together and made requisitions to see him as counsel, but try as we did, we were not able to see him. On the basis that the director of the DNI, who asked to see him and who had, received Mr. Tamins and was not available in the office.
So, what reasons have been given for this arrest? We know what we are reading.
No official of the DNI has proffered any reason as to why Mr. Tamins was invited. But what I'm able to tell that the station itself, Mr. Tamins himself, is of the position that it is in connection with a story that CTFM Online carried, reference this arrest of this lady at Heathrow Airport.
That's right. So, I mean, the key question is, you are a journalist. So when I ask you these questions, it's also based on the fact that you understand the ethics that govern publication and etc. Do you feel by any means that perhaps CTFM may have violated some ethical principles?
I do not
cross-check, cross-check, cross-check. You do not think so?
I do not think that CTFM has committed any offense in the circumstance. Maybe one or two parts of the story may have been inaccurate, but that does not warrant the sledgehammer approach that the BNI has adopted.
Right, there's some very latest update on this particular story. The news coming in is that the CTFM board has been released. That's on CTFM Online, the portal, and it indicates that he has been released. He was originally detained, and the story goes, the chief executive officer of CTFM, Samuel Atamensa, has been released by the Bureau of National Investigations. This was after he was invited by the National Security Agency for questioning over an online publication on cityfmonline.com about the arrest of a Ghanaian woman who was arrested in the UK. Now, what we have, the story which originally started off on social media was giving currency when it appeared on the radio station's news website. It originally named the alleged trafficker as Ruby Edu Jemfi, alleged to be carrying a Ghanaian diplomatic passport at the time of her arrest. Madam Ruby Edu Jemfi, according to the original story, was said to be very popular among Ghana's current political establishment. Now, the Narcotics Control Board, in a statement, has identified the Ghanaian lady arrested in the cocaine bust at London Heathrow as Nayeli Amatofa. The brief facts, as released by NACOB, says one Miss Nayeli Amatofa was arrested on the 10th of November, 2014, through the collaborative effort of the Narcotics Control Board and its British partners. On the 9th November 2014, one Miss Nayeli Amatofa boarded British Airways flight number BA 078 from Accra to London. She was arrested at Heathrow International Airport. She had flown on a first-class ticket using travel miles on British Airways point. The ticket had been purchased on 8th October 2014 and had been altered 3 times. In her possession, she had 2 suitcases. Only one of the suitcases was checked in, baggage tag number giving those details, and nothing of interest was found. In the other suitcase, which was believed to be hand-carried onto the plane, 10 kilograms of cocaine was found among her clothing. The cocaine were wrapped in 1 kilo blocks. In her handbag, she had further 2 kilos or blocks. And it continues, it is worthy to note that Ms. Nayeli Amatofa traveled on Austrian passport number P4187659 and not on a Ghanaian diplomatic passport as has been speculated. She also had in her possession an ordinary Ghanaian passport number G0364497 issued on 3rd August 2012. And it concludes investigations are still ongoing, and the statement is signed by Richard Ni Lante Blanksing. He's a Deputy Executive Secretary of the Narcotics Control Board. So that's the you just saw the image of Nayeli Amatofa, who is said to have been arrested in London on drug smuggling charges. Other news, members of the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union of the TUC have actually declared a 1-day strike tomorrow over the dismissal of some workers at oil services firm Modec.
According to the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union, workers of Modec Ghana, after several failed attempts to meet and discuss their concerns on a new salary scale with management, decided to wear red bands whilst working on 27th and 28th of October 2014 to register their dissatisfaction and disappointment in management. The Deputy General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Yaoba, was able to arrange a meeting between Modec management, GTPCWU, the local union and the Petroleum Commission on the 30th of October 2014. After 12 hours of meeting, an MOU was signed by all parties agreeing on the roadmap to resolve all pending issues. According to the MOU, workers were to remain employees of Modec and enjoy all existing benefits whilst waiting for negotiations on the salary structure and CBA to resume on November 7. But according to the union, management seems to have had a change of heart.
The union received a letter from management on the evening of November 6, 2014, requesting for a postponement of the Standing Negotiating Committee meeting to November 12, 2014. To the utmost surprise of the union and in blatant breach and disregard of the October 30th, 2014 MOU, Modec management issued dismissal letters by email to 27 unionized members, including the local union executives, on November 10th, 2014.
Apart from sacking the workers, the union says management also issued threatening letters to 11 other unionized staff who excused themselves from work for safety reasons and in solidarity with their dismissed colleagues. The General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union says the one-day strike will involve members from all their affiliated unions, including the Tema Oil Refinery, petrol tanker drivers, BOST, and West Africa Gas Pipeline Company.
Unionized workers of Model who have been issued with dismissal letters must be reinstated unconditionally with immediate effects. Management should withdraw immediately the following written directives to the workers. 1. Signing of letter of undertaking to be of good behavior dated 4th November 2014. 2. Model Ghana disciplinary policy dated 31st October 2014 should also be withdrawn. In solidarity with the affected Ghanaian workers of Model, the GTPCWU has declared a one-day solidarity strike on Tuesday, November 18, 2014, to be observed by all.
Leaders of the Mother Union, TUC, declared their full support for the action.
Why do you single out workers and force them or coerce them to sign such undertaking? Therefore, my brother, we fully support our affiliates. We are going to go all out with them, and we are going to make sure those responsible for these dismissals hear us. We expect the government to hear us. We expect the Petroleum Commission to hear us, and until they hear us, we will not sleep.
Meanwhile, members of the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union, or the TUC, are accusing Labour consultant Austin Game of using his position as consultant to the management of Model Ghana to thwart the negotiation process between the staff and management. They say he is behind the decision by Modex's management to sack its workers.
Austin Game is the consultant for Modec. So whatever Modec is doing now, it is in consultation with Austin Game. The day we signed that MOU, Austin was the one who was there representing Modec. And that meeting took us for almost 12 hours to come up with that simple MOU, which was crystal clear. They went back and Austin advised them to throw that MOU away and do their own thing. Hence, this is the consequences. Don't trust that man, because we don't trust him either. We know him. He is a chameleon. When he sees that the heat is coming, he will turn as if he is supporting where the heat is coming from. But he's a trickster. We know him. He has spoken to me personally, and he was telling me on the phone that that MOU doesn't matter, and that our guys were wrong.
Well, we made contact with the Labour consultant Austin Game. He says he would not speak to the matter right now, but intends to issue a statement tomorrow. So we intend to make that statement available to you once he makes it public. Elsewhere, residents in Ashaman here in Accra are warning of another demonstration in protest of the bad nature of their roads. Sometime last year, some commercial drivers and residents of the area hit the streets to demonstrate their dissatisfaction of the poor nature of roads in the municipality. Soon after the action, work began on the most deplorable stretch in the community. But a year on, work seems to have stalled, and residents of the area are warning of another action should the situation remain the same.
The Ashaiman Mandela Road is currently in a deplorable state. The road project currently has little to show for its description of a road under construction, probably except for its sandy state. Though substantial work was done on this stretch sometime last year, the project seems to have been abandoned, with dust and filth coupled with several potholes the only significant features on the stretch. A system which was to aid drainage on the road seems to have become breeding ground for mosquitoes. Residents of the area are therefore pleading with government to resume work on the road in order to prevent the recurrence of the demonstration that caused a lot of chaos.
We are now prepared well to do more than what we do the first, because it seems like they are lying way. Immediately that we come out with some demonstrators, we will come and do some small things and they will go away. They come with some speed. I mean, time that they come almost about some 2 weeks. If it's even, it's 24 hours, night, day and night. But now they stopped it. They are not doing nothing. If you go to the junction there, the same thing. You go here to the same thing. We don't know what they are doing. What we saw now is they just come in and we took their machines away. We don't know what they are trying to tell us. If you watch, I'm still telling you about here. See how here is now. Brother, I mean, you see it. We are just begging them. If they don't want the same demonstration now, they should come. We write letter to the MCE to tell them to come and do this thing.
But we at the end of the day, no matter how Jahan foot trouble musa time I children no be sebaya enipa akuma betonium. By say Sanya or Masaya man foot any idea just say what taught the anocram foot room quano. Ama will be a asset no class asset a quino or my dad dying. Two to Musa Channy send your company at the cost no munya on bit Masaya. Because senior Colonel Eden.
I don't know what they are thinking of this road. Well, that's left here a long time. They have to do something. See, this Ashama would not have any other road. This is the main road. When you are from anywhere to Tema, you have to pass here. From Accra, you have to pass here. From Medina, there's another road from Medina come to here. But all the road is not bad. It's a bad. If they didn't do demonstration in Ghana here, you know, we fear demonstration. When you do it, they'll hide up and come and do something. The youths are saying that from now to next week, if they didn't see anything, they'll make action.
So, will government wait for another action by these residents, or will work resume on the Ashaman roads anytime soon? For Joy News, Kwabena Chenchen Hinebot.
Well, we wait to see how that pans out. 3 macho men on Thursday chased away some journalists who had gone to Gwaso in the Esunafo North municipality to cover the destruction of cocoa farms for a road project. The men, who claimed to be acting on the orders of the paramount chief of Gwaso, Nana Akwesi Busompra, threatened to shoot the journalists if they did not vacate the area. Joy News' Nestor Kafuya Joma was part of the team that went to Gwaso and filed this report.
Farmers around Senate quarters have also sent a distress message to Joy News indicating that their cocoa, palm, plantain, maize and cassava farms are being destroyed without prior information or any compensation. Upon reaching the site, our news team met heavily built men who ordered them to vacate the area without delay. According to the men, the paramount chief of Gwaso, Nana Akwesi Busompra, directed them to prevent the crew from covering the destruction of the crops. This resulted in war of words between Gwaso Manhene's men and the reporters for close to an hour. When one of the journalists challenged the authority of the macho men, they threatened to shoot at the crew to set them as an example to the whole world that journalists are nothing. The men further dared the news team to attempt filming, and the cameras will be crashed. The news team, sensing danger, eventually left the site. Some of the farmers who won't disclose their identity for fear of being attacked by the chief's men told Joy News they are unhappy with the destruction of their farms, which started some 3 days before the news team got there.
You can't like na the preoccupied the caterpillar a similar old corner egu mouse nice old ama sia the beti and then that share in a mouth or a more school plan on once my time and ama sia you cook home paying for us ever good from paying for us I go home almost only skip here on Mary on betray my do you want much say we cry come so from how you know more a ham so from honor almost say Bimo my phone people catch say I buy a my hand cry any ye crafona casa my brother entes I craft for ye now report to be it is a and my I hear say as your dog cooing then fever ye say now about brave fertilizer ye dear guasi now fertilizer and so dear guasi see I be who answer we shall buy so soon.
Yes, I hope you can also a quine, whom say, whom be advance so my fertilizer, dear Guassi. And you say, no, now fertilizer, dear Guassi. Yes, Laban says, he said, yeah, to my abbot. And he has ran one name, and your boys will you quine, or me and Patasica.
The crops are being destroyed to make way for the construction of a 5-kilometer ring road from the Snit quarters to cocoa stations on the Gosso-Kumasi road. The farmers are appealing to the central government to intervene in ensuring that the proper thing is done for them to get compensated. Nesta Kafuya Joma braved the odds to file this news from Gosso in the Bonafo region.
We're taking a break, but we have more stories coming up thereafter. Stay tuned. The Electricity Company of Ghana and Volta River Authority have called for massive investment in the energy sector to help resolve the current erratic power outages in the country. Speaking on Joy FM Super Morning Show, Head of Corporate Communications at VRA, Samuel Fletcher, says $1.5 billion is needed to help save the situation.
Residents in many parts of the country have persistently complained about the erratic nature of electricity supply. The situation has been that bad, residents in some suburbs in Accra blocked some major routes to draw attention to their plight. Both the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Volta River Authority have always maintained the refrain that consumers are not paying a fair tariff for the power they enjoy.
The solution, one of the things we need to look at in this country, and I think that PURC lately has been doing some great job by following the automatic tariff adjustment formula. We can do better. One of the things we need to look at carefully is our tariff regime. Because even the independent power producers who want to come into the system are looking at your tariff regime. They want to see whether you can pay. See, it's not Father Christmas.
But consumers always have been asked to pay more and have indeed had no choice. So how come the situation has still not improved?
A megawatt costs $1 million. So if we have a deficit of, say, 500 megawatts, we need $500 million to fix it. If we need a reserve of 500 megawatts, we need another 500 million to fix it. So that's $1 billion. Maybe if we want to have our fuel security going and we want to build an LNG facility, maybe, I mean, I'm not giving accurate figures, maybe, but another 500 million should do. Today, if you give me $1.5 billion, I'm sure we'll be able to move our power system a little forward.
So, are you ready to pay more for yet again another promise of quality power supply?
To me, it's abnormal. Because for the first time, you people said we should pay more. This light outbreak will stop. And we have paid. Even now, service even worse. Why should we have to pay light again?
Debates and name-calling at ECG will certainly continue, especially each time the power goes off. Latif Idris's report for Joy News.
Ghana's efforts to achieve the Millennium Development Goal MDG 5, which targets a reduction of maternal deaths to 54 per 100,000 live births by the year 2015, looks bleak. This is because though the target was to reduce it by 75% in 20 years, only a little above 50% reduction has been achieved. Experts are not happy with the slow pace of reduction and recommend extra efforts for Ghana to achieve the MDG 5 target. Aisha Ibrahim has been exploring this subject.
This is the joy and pride of a mother after a safe delivery. Some mothers, however, don't live to outdoor their babies. The phenomenon of maternal deaths in Ghana continues to be a major problem, even though there has been some improvement in the situation. Deputy Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Gloria Asare, says the causal factors are many.
So we have what we call the delays. The first delay is at the home, at the community level. If a woman is not educated, if she does not have the power to decide or to work with significant others around her to take decisions about her birth, or even if she doesn't know too much about seeking care during pregnancy and childbirth, then she's actually not going to access health care. And then once the person has decided to seek help, the next thing is getting to the facility. There are places with very poor access roads, places where in the rainy season you cannot even make a trip So that is also a big issue. And sometimes when the labor starts in the night, even when there's a road, if there's no vehicle, it means that the woman will not be able to access care. So that is what we call the second delay. Then the third delay is once they've come to the facility, we should be able to meet them and do whatever has to be done for them. When they come early, usually it's very easy to handle uncomplicated cases without any eventualities. But a person with a lot of complications or any complication coming all the way and then getting to the hospital late, sometimes there's very little we can do.
Institutional maternal mortality rate has so far reduced from 216 per 100,000 live births in 1990 to 164 per 100,000 live births in 2010, with a distance of 110 to target of 54 per 100,000 live births in 2015. But the MDG-5 targets a reduction of maternal mortality rate by 3/4 by the year 2015. Referrals still remain a problem in many districts. Many districts lack ambulance services, making it very difficult to transport referred patients.
The referral aspect of it is still actually, and I do agree, because I know quite a number of the districts are located in rural settings, and transportation there is very bad. And so you have most of the women getting to the hospitals in critical conditions. At this facility, some of the they don't even have medical doctors there, and so usually you have the medical assistants or the nurses transferring them to the next facility for emergency care. And so because there are no ambulances there, you have some of the women dying at those facilities because there's no ready means of transport, such as an ambulance or even a commercial vehicle they can take to go to the next facility.
In order to achieve the MDG-5 of reducing maternal mortality by 3/4, several challenges and bottlenecks have been identified that needs to be dealt with. These include the improvement in deployed skilled health workers, supply of equipment, logistics, staff accommodation, transportation and ambulance services. The Ghana Health Service looks forward to doing more to correct the situation. Unavailable data set on maternal health care for systematic investigation into maternal health has also been a challenge. The Ghana Health Service says it is working round the clock to get it rectified. Aisha Ibrahim, Joy News, Accra.
The National Health Insurance Authority will on Friday start registering its clients in the Upper West region on the biometric system. Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
Since the introduction of the National Health Insurance Scheme some 10 years ago, it has been bedeviled with many challenges. Clients had to wait for close to 3 months or more before being given their cards to access healthcare services. To solve this problem, the National Health Insurance Authority kickstarted the process of registering all its clients biometrically. At a sensitization workshop organized in WA for service providers in the district, Director of the Management Information System at the National Health Insurance Authority, Terry Nelson, spoke about the exercise.
The new biometric addresses some challenges, i.e., when you register, you get your card instantly at the point of registration or renewal. It does away with the long delays in ID card production or ID card distribution challenges. Secondly, it allows us to authenticate a member at the point of health service delivery. When you authenticate it, generates what we call a CCC, that is a claims check code. That claims check code is the code that tells us that you have received service at the facility at a certain dating point. Therefore, when we get a claim, we know the claim is genuine, it's from that person.
He appealed to the public not to rush for the biometric exercise, which begins on Friday, as the exercise is a continuous process.
The new system is here to stay. There's no need to rush to renew your card. It's not due for renewal because it's not for a short term, this is for the long term. This is a new system that we will use forever. So we don't expect them to rush to renew cars which are not due for renewal, so that we don't get big crowds calling at our offices. That's all we'll ask our subscribers to bear with us. So only those who are registering fresh or whose cars are due for renewal should go and register right now that we are introducing the biometric. But we are not introducing today. We hope to go live in one municipal on Friday.
In another development, a delegation from the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College are on a 5-day study tour of the Upper West region. Their study tour will cover 4 areas, which includes youth, unemployment, illegal mining and sanitation. The delegation first met with the Upper West Regional Minister, Alhaji Amin Amidu Suleimani, who gave them a mental picture of the region. A report by Rafiq Salam from Wa.
I do apologize for the loss of sound there. Well, economist Dr. Barima Osei Asare is asking government to ensure the 2015 budget cuts down the wage bill so it can significantly reduce the fiscal deficit. The budget, he says, should also come with innovative ways of raising revenue and prudent ways of spending those revenues.
Government, according to the central bank, between January and September this year, raised a total of 17.7 billion Ghana cedis in revenues and grants, falling short of the target of 18.4 billion Ghana cedis. It, however, spent 24.4 billion cedis with a budgeted ceiling of 25.8 billion cedis, registering a deficit of 6.7 billion Ghana cedis, or 5.9% of GDP. For the development economist, the coming budget should ensure the budget deficit is drastically reduced.
The high wage bill, is one issue that the government must find ways of reducing the wage bill. Reducing the wage bill doesn't necessarily mean government should reduce or cut the size of the civil servants or freeze wage. It also will mean that having a very effective public financial management system in place to ensure that all loopholes are blocked and also reduce grafts and corruption, within the system, like ghost names and others. If that one is well checked, I think the wage bill can come down.
He proposed a reduction of tax exemptions and incentive packages for tax payments to rake in revenues.
I've always said that maybe the government can have some kind of incentive package, to those who pay tax. For example, even assessing credit from the microfinance institutions. The microfinance institutions should be empowered to demand the tax certificate, just as when you are going to export or import certain product, they will require you to produce your tax, certificates and all. GRA has to be well resourced. They have to come out with a much more cost-effective way of collecting this money. Now there are, a lot of technologies that have come, they can deploy it, or a kind of technology that makes it easier, even like buying a card or something. It will be a way, mobile money system and all that. They have to be more innovative.
Dr. Barima Osei Asare meanwhile expects the budget to hinge on the proposed IMF program.
The SGDA actually ended last year, 2013. The second one, this GDA 2 has actually not started or rolled out. We haven't launched that yet, which is supposed to start from 2014. And therefore, we have to know upon which policy that this budget is based on. So I'm expecting that this budget, if it is not based on the GSGDA, then it should at least be based on the the short-term policy framework of the IMF, that the program that the government will have with the IMF, so that there will be a policy harmony, there will be policy coherence and consistency.
Abigail Adamakunchi for Joy News.
Still on the budget, some state institutions would from next year be asked to borrow on their own without any government guarantee. This is one of the measures Finance Minister Sekpepe is expected to announce in the 2015 budget on Wednesday. According to some persons close to the budget, the move would help bring down the public debt, which is currently hovering around 66 billion Ghana cedis. It would ensure that states are more responsible on how they go about borrowing and responsible with funds. To some other stories, the current state of Ghana's public debt, according to the latest figures from the Bank of Ghana, means that every Ghanaian, including newborn babies, automatically owe a whopping amount of 2,700 Ghana cedis, while the total public sector debt stock as at the end of August 2014 was 65.7 billion Ghana cedis, 57.3% of GDP, up from 55.5% of GDP, representing 51.9 billion as the end of December 2013. Ghana, with an estimated population of 25 million people, when divided by the public debt of 65.7 billion cedis, means that every Ghanaian owed 2,700 Ghana cedis to the country's creditors, both internally and externally, as of August this year. In 2009, every Ghanaian was indebted to the tune of 380 Ghana cedis, as the total public debt stock at that time stood at 9.5 billion Ghana cedis. This means that from 2009 up till date, an additional amount of 2,320 Ghana cedis had been added to the total debt stock owed by every Ghanaian, including newborn babies. Quite interesting there. Well, away from the local front to the international scene, Japan's economy unexpectedly shrunk for the second consecutive quarter, leaving the world's third largest economy in technical recession. Gross domestic product fell at an annualized 1.6% from July to September, compared with forecasts of 2.1% rise. That followed a revised 7.3% contraction in the second quarter, which was the biggest fall since the March 2011 earthquake and tsunami. Economists said the weak economic data could delay a sales tax rise. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is widely expected to call a snap election to seek a mandate to delay an increase in the sales tax to 10% scheduled for 2015. The tax increase was legislated by the previous government in 2012 to curb Japan's huge public debt, which is the highest among developed nations. April saw the first phase of the sales tax increase from 5% to 8%, which hit growth in the second quarter and still appears to be having an impact on the economy. Authorities in Brussels have charged HSBC's private banking arm, which is based in Switzerland, with helping wealthy Belgians to avoid taxes. Prosecutors allege that hundreds of clients, including diamond dealers in Antwerp, moved money to offshore tax havens with the help of the bank. They said it has resulted in hundreds of millions of euros in lost tax revenue. In August, HSBC warned that the penalties in relation to such allegations could be significant. In a statement, Belgian authorities accused HSBC of having knowingly eased and promoted fiscal fraud by making offshore companies available to certain privileged clients. These companies, which are based in Panama and the Virgin Islands, exist for the sole purpose of tax evasion, they added. Over 1,000 taxpayers are alleged to have been involved in the fraud, which saw funds amounting to several $1 billion transferred out of Belgium since 2003. Responding to the announcement by Belgian authorities, HSBC said it had been notified of the investigation and of a similar investigation by French authorities, and that the bank would continue to cooperate to the fullest extent possible. And that'll be all by way of business. I'm Abigail Adumakwentri. George Addo Jr. comes up next with sports.
Right, let's talk some sports now. We're looking ahead to what the Black Stars will do when they play Togo and Tamale on Wednesday. For Ghana will be without standing captain Andre Dede Ayew, but could be with captain Asamoah Gyan in Wednesday's crucial African clash with Togo after the former was ruled unfit and the latter's injury situation yet to be cleared by the Black Stars medical team. Ghana will be without Andre Dede Ayew for the crucial 2015 Nations Cup qualifier against Togo and Tamale on Wednesday after scans revealed he will be out for 2 weeks with a groin injury. The midfielder who captained the Black Stars in the defeat away to Uganda in Kampala on Saturday admitted afterwards he played through the pain barrier after picking up an injury, and now MRI scans have confirmed damage to his thigh that will require 2 weeks to heal. The news adds to Ghana's woes in the closing stages of the qualifiers, with injury having robbed the Black Stars of their captain and top goal scorer Asamoah Gyan in Kampala, as well as influential midfielder Kwadwo Asamoah. It also means the Black Stars could be without not just 3 of their influential and senior players, but their 2 top scorers in the current qualifying campaign. Dede has contributed 2 goals, both of them from the penalty spot, while Gyan has scored 3 in 4 matches that he has featured in. Together, they have contributed 5 of 8 goals that Ghana has scored in the qualifiers so far. Gyan is currently with the team in Tamale, and standing coach Maxwell Konedu is not ruling playing after his month-long absence through injury. Well, the Black Stars team Dr. Baba Adam has been explaining to Joy Sports the extent of Dede Ayew's injury and also tells us what the situation is with Asamoah Gyan. I apologize for the loss of sound there, but that's just it. Dede Ayew is not going to be part of the team that plays. They didn't travel with the team to Tamale. Asamoah Gyan could play if he's past fit, and so that's we're looking at that as well. Things just got murky for the Black Stars, and if you understand, they need to at least get a point. And also looking at what's happening in the final group, because Egypt might qualify as a third-place team, the Black Stars will need to beat Togo crucially to get in there. Let's still talk about some African Cup of Nations, but not in 2015, 2017. And Ghana is among 4 countries, to be considered as possible hosts for the African Cup of Nations in 2017. The Confederation of African Football slashed the initial number of 7 to 4 after its initial checks by the inspection team had settled on Egypt, Gabon, Algeria, and Ghana. The Confederation of African Football has said only 4 countries meet the criteria to be considered as hosts for the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. Of 7 nations who originally bid to replace Libya as host, Algeria, Ghana, Egypt, and Gabon remain in the running. CAF decided Kenya, Zimbabwe, and Sudan were not compliant with the set criteria to be considered. Libya decided in August they would not be able to host the tournament because of security fears in the country. CAF has not yet set a date to take the vote to determine the new host country. At a meeting of CAF's executive committee, concerns were expressed over the preparations for both the African Under-17 and Under-20 championships set for next year. Senegal are due to host the Under-20 event, which serves as the qualifiers for the 2015 World Under-20 Cup in March. The report of the inspection mission noted delays in undertaking of the planned works, including notably the site of Mboa, scheduled to be the second venue for the competition. The Under-17 finals are set for Niger in February and also counts as qualifiers for the Under-17 World Cup in Chile. Now, just before I step out, there's some good news for former coach of the Black Stars, Coach Kwesi Appiah. He's scheduled to get into Khartoum, Sudan in 72 hours. Apparently, there's a job for him in Al Merrek. And if you've been following the news, the best player in the season, I guess Nokra moved to Al Merrek not too long ago. Should be great because he's been looking for a job, and it'll be fine if he gets that one as well. And just to top it up with news coming in, Avon Grant is almost settled with the Ghana Football Association and is expected to be sealing the deal. Expected to take about $50,000 a month. We'll be paying close attention to all of that. That'll be all for sports tonight. I'm George Adejuna. Israel joins us with some more. Have a good night.
Rapper Adam at the weekend emerged the biggest winner at the 2014 Foresight TV Awards. The rapper bagged 3 awards, including the Most Outstanding Video, while fellow rapper Sarkodie walked away with 2 awards, including the Most Influential Artist of the Year.
It was a charged night filled with electrifying performances from some of Ghana's finest music talents. Though it was a night meant to award musicians and the men and women who interpret their songs through pictures, there was a rare opportunity for some of the fans to also win an award. The prize at stake was an iPhone 6, and you'd be amazed at what the winner had to do to win the award.
Hey, iPhone 6, but now you say. DJ. So who's the winner? Is she the winner? Oh, even the contestant said that she's the winner. TM for life, let's hear for our 2Bs. Refuse to be broke.
But then came the time to reward the musicians, and Adam walked away with the awards for Best Photography, Best Directed Video, and the Most Outstanding Video for his new video, The One. Sarkodie won Best Hip Life Video Award for his song Adonai with Castro, and took a separate one as the Most Influential Artist of the Year. Shatawale's Everybody Like My Thing also earned him 2 awards, Best Reggae Dancehall Video and Most Popular Video, while VVIP also won 2 awards, Best Choreography and Best Group Award for their hit song, Selfie. Other winners of the night were Becca, Best Female Video for Move, Fuse ODG, Best Male Video for Dangerous Love, Kwesi Oteng, Count Your Blessing, Best Gospel Music Video, Miss V, Best Discovery, EL, Ayaya, Best Storyline, and Trigmatic, Best Special Effects for Bellum. Industrialist Apostle Kojusapo Kantanka was presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award, a move which has started a debate over whether or not he deserves the award.
Well, congratulations to all the award winners. That's it for Showbiz. That's it for the bulletin. Before we go, though, a quick run through our top stories. The Narcotics Control Board has released details and photographs of the Ghanaian lady arrested at Heathrow Airport in London in drug smuggling attempt. Meanwhile, the general manager of an Accra-based radio station questioned apparently over publication on the drug bust has been released. Residents of Ashaman Sabah near Tema threatening another demonstration of a stalled road project. General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union announced one-day strike in solidarity with workers of oil industry services firm Modek. And power providers say more investment will be required if the current erratic electricity supply situation is to be resolved. And that's it. My name is Ojolai. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.